into the show that informs, entertains, inspires, and promotes all things that go left. Welcome to Late Model Monday, the weekly show to stay in the know about asphalt late models here in the Pacific Northwest. Tonight's show is brought to you by Miller Kitchen and Bath, Bailey General Contractors, and by Myers Floor Covers, Welcher's Gun Shop, Flaming Pig Barbecue, and by the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval and the Leonard Evans Used Car Superstore, and by the great folks at Product41.com, McKinney Glass of Yakima, Atomic Screen Printing, and BLG, Blue Line Graphics. Be unique, stand out, and get noticed. www.blg.blue. And now, back to your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and the low Jeff Eady. Oh, what is going on, racers? Welcome to another edition of Late Model Monday. I'm your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges. And hoping this finds everybody doing awesome. What's going on, Mike Short? The coach, Mr. Wayne Walden. Doug Bartley Jr., what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in tonight. We got a cool show for you tonight. This is week 5 of the COVID-19 deal. I hope everybody's home and safe and taking care of business. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of just done with, there's just, there's more to life than this COVID virus, I'm telling you. And so I'm just done with the negativity. I'm just going to be looking at, there's some that say, oh, yeah, we're going to surpass car accidents. And I get all that. I know it's bad. That's why we're staying home. That's why we're staying home and trying to stay safe. Yes, is it a little inconvenient? Absolutely it is. Does it feel like some of our rights are taken away? Kind of. But I think in the real realm of things, when we look back on this, we're going to look back and say, it was probably the right thing to do. I mean, everybody's all over Trump. You can't do this fast enough. You can't do that right enough. You can't do this wrong enough. I mean, it just, I don't know. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Stay 6 feet away. If you can stay home, stay home. If you absolutely need to go to work or go get groceries, go do it. But go do it and get back. I mean, it's not like they're asking us to, it's not like we're, over there in Europe many years ago where, we're cooped up in these gas things. I mean, we're in the comfort of our own home and hanging out, getting to watch movies, and we can still take a hot shower and we can go out for a walk. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, yes, it does feel like some of our rights are taken away, but guess what all the whining would be about when they catch it? Oh, then it'll be woe is me, and oh, my goodness. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's what I'm saying. Take your stand, but it is what it is. So, let's make the best of it. Got a great show for you tonight. The great Adam Nelson from Meridian Speedway going to be with us. And then we've also got the legendary Mr. Doug Hobbs from Evergreen Speedway going to join us. We're going to talk about what improvements they've made to their track, what they're looking forward to this year, like we all are. And we're just trying to keep it real here on Late Model Monday. Try to give you guys a place to, a good, safe place to show up. And, get your mind off of this stuff. Hey, what's up, Rocket? Rusty Rossmeyer, Marvin Christie Schultz. Love it. Just to take your mind off of it. There's not a whole lot of racing. I know this much. Somebody made a post on, Kelly Hale, what's up? Todd Havens, Chris Miner, Dean Wagner, man, I love it. The Loader says sleep in. Wouldn't you know that? That's from a retired guy. But yeah, the iRacing deal is so flippin' cool. I just think it's awesome. I mean, some people say, yay or nay. I say yay. I say yay all the way. I wish they had Rocketo like this. I wish they had UAS iRacing. Wouldn't that be dope? You could pick a 450 man, that'd be sweet. Maybe someday that'll happen. But I watched the race from Texas late yesterday. Actually, it was last night. And I got to tell you, I'm solo because we're we're abiding by the law, Chris. We're trying to it's not the law, but we just thought it'd be best that we both stay home because it's the right thing to do. That the Lord and I kind of talked about it. Well, he prayed about it and said, hey, you know what? I'm really feeling like I need to be here because he can't get his wife sick. We just don't want to take the chance because he's got to be going to Oregon and checking in on his mother-in-law and all that stuff. So we just thought it best that we just kind of did it solo. So that's what we're doing. We'll be back soon enough. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to have him back. I do miss him here. But yeah, we're gonna get through this. What's up, Chris Meloso? What's up, buddy? Good to see you on. I love it. So at about 10 after the hour, which is coming up, Adam Nelson from Go Inside, track on Facebook, give a pic a like, please. 67S for Mike Stelz. Yeah, he's in the March Madness deal. We've got his picture right there. He was kind enough to send me this awesome picture of it. I got his number, too. I just got to get it. I got to clear some room here. I'm going to clear this out and get it up there. But so never fear, Iron Mike. We're going to get you hooked up. Oh, what's up? Jesse Brown, what's going on, my man? So I know we're all ready to go late model racing. I know I am. But until then, you know, the loader's idea is what this was. He said, man, we should give the promoter some love. And he's 100% right. So that's what we've tried to do over the last 4 or 5 weeks. We had Greg Walden, and we had Nick Ben, and we had Matt Alexander, and we had Jeremy Anders. And we just wanted to try to get and Doug Betterall, we wanted to try to get everybody in so they could talk a little bit about their track and what's going on and all the new improvements. I know South Sound has a new PA system. I mean, for me, I'm going there to check that out because I'm stoked. I love that. That's cool stuff. But it's just going to be interesting to see, like Meridian. You know, they're just, I don't know. They're far enough out. We need to give them some love. And so we thought, man, we're going to hold Adam Nelson, see what's going on new there. They got the Big 5 late model series over there that's always awesome. And we're just going to find out what's going on. And Doug Hobbs, who was going to be with us last week, couldn't because he had some county stuff he had to do. And so he's going to be with us tonight. So it's just going to be cool. Just BS about racing. I don't know how many tuned in or checked out our karting history. We started our first one last night. We had Phil Fow, who was an awesome guest, on. Next Sunday from 6 to 7. We'll continue it, and we have the Wizard, Jason Gibb, going to be here. Man, this guy has won like 5 Oklahoma drillers. He's just a stud. It's just going to be so cool. We're going to get some. So if you like karting or you want to know more about karting, it's going to be a great time to check out the show on Sunday. And this is just our way of giving back. It's going to be an hour where you can come and lose your mind and just not have to think about the virus or washing your hands or even take a break from all the bar hopping you've done in your in your house. Oh, and here we go. Our guest tonight, he is awesome. The one and only Mr. Adam Nelson. What's going on, Mr. Nelson? How are you, sir?
Terry, what's going on in the great state of Washington?
Dude, I'm so pumped that you're on tonight, man. I love this. So I'm just going to get right to it, man. What is going on in Meridian?
Pretty much the same thing that's going on all over the country. I think. Obviously, we're a little later to the party than most, but by God, we're still all just hanging out here, waiting to find out what the heck's going to happen to our racing season, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, you know, we talked. I had Greg Burgess on, who was a promoter. I don't know if you know Greg. He used to own.
Yeah, I know Greg.
Yeah,
well.
He was awesome, you know, and he said he thought that it was going to be this break might actually, you know, it might have a silver lining to it, just because the second half of the season would be so great, and maybe some of the teams that were on a little bit more limited budget will be able to go do some things they might not ordinarily get to do. So I thought that was kind of a cool way to look at it.
Well, yeah, and I think I think your position on what's going to happen, I think really, if you're a track operator, is really relative to how many events you have scheduled. There's tons of places that that put a season together on 12 or 13 events, and plenty of them that like Meridian, we've got 30 racing events on the schedule, and at this point, depending on what happens in the next couple of weeks, we're slated to only lose the first one. Obviously, that's optimistic, but if we don't get to play in April at all, we only lose 3 out of 30. So it's not like starting half season for us. So I think the silver lining, I mean, you got to make your own silver lining. I mean, we're definitely glass half full people around here. Where the glass is never half empty.
Right. Well, it can be. It shouldn't be. I mean, life shouldn't be that way. You know what I'm saying?
No, but it's easy to jump on board with all of the craziness that people start spouting, and we're all spending our time on social media and watching movies and all the stuff that we like to do a lot, but we know we shouldn't, and that's the only thing we can freaking do. So we're all Tiger Kinged up, and we know everybody's political beliefs, and we've seen every picture that everybody can throw at you from the garage, whether they're working on a late model or a sprint car or modified, and it's just, man, it hasn't been very long, but I feel like it's been all summer already here. So
I can agree with you. I mean, and that's the one thing you don't put on social media if you want to get hated, and that's your political beliefs. Good Lord Almighty.
Well, the hard part is you feel like you're in like company, and then somebody from somewhere else, sees your stuff and pipes in, and then you're thinking, man, I think made me sound like a communist.
I know
but no,
it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the hard part is, with all of this, should they be closed? Shouldn't they be closed? And everybody's scared to share their opinion because somebody's going to shame them into thinking that how dare you want to kill my grandma or my grandpa? And it's like, man, we don't want to kill nobody's grandma or grandpa. We just want to get our tracks open. We want to get our sandwich shops open. We want to get our shirt shops open, and we want to go racing, and we want to do what we can to stay safe, but we really shouldn't. Well, we really shouldn't be here at the end of the world.
Absolutely. I think Trump's right in a way where he says, the cause shouldn't be worse than the cure shouldn't be worse than what's the cause is. You know what I mean?
I don't know. You better be careful. You're sounding like Biden there for a minute. You're getting your stuff mixed up.
Yeah, I know I am. Yeah. So let's talk about.
But no, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Agree. Yeah, we all agree. I think that crap's messed up, and there's nothing we can do about it.
That's correct.
Let's talk about race cars. Meridian Speedway, we're supposed to be opening April 11th. We have a stay-at-home order here in Idaho now till April 15th. So our tentative plan here at Meridian is to run practice on April 16th and 17th and race on the 18th.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So, I mean, that's our plan. Track's pretty much ready. We have a few, spring things yet to get done, but we have a good 18 days left to do that. So we're in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Should our 21-day stay-at-home order that ends the 15th be lifted, which it's likely that it won't be, but glass half full, if it's lifted on the 15th,
mm-hmm.
then realistically what we're bound by is the social distancing order that's in place until the 15th also here in Meridian for our city.
Right.
And we had already taken steps to do our test and tunes and stuff and follow the guidelines that let us do that, but we missed that by a couple of days.
Right.
And that's, silly stuff like, we'd let cars in and they'd pit stall, an empty pit stall in between each one of them, which gives them 12 feet. And our order's like 6 feet, and you can only have 4 people work on a car at a time. Just, whatever that regular stuff is that you can try and abide
absolutely
by the rule
man.
with.
Yeah, I get it.
And so, if City of Meridian extends their order, obviously I think the the national orders till April 30th, and it's a recommendation, and the governor are creating the orders. So
right.
So our governor's not quite as ordery as others. And so I think we could get by. But with that said, if we couldn't and we had to cancel the 18th and the 25th, which were Speed Tour modifieds and Speed Tour sprint cars, I mean, our first race is supposed to be the big 5 late models, and we're all really, we've all been really excited to get all of these guys going. If we lost those 3, we've still lost only 3 out of 30. And, we have that built into our program for rainouts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right? Because, it's going to rain out, 2 or 3 times a year generally. So we have those built in.
Right.
So if we can get started in May, we still, I think, are on track.
So now, if you did have to cancel those first 3 or whatever, would those be 3 that you would reschedule and try to get in later on in the year, or would those just be counted as basically as a loss?
I think the static answer for us is we're just going to pick up, where the schedule tells us to pick up, and knowing that if opportunity presented itself to have a Wednesday night or a Thursday night event, where we could make something up like that, we definitely would. I mean, we wouldn't be afraid to try it.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have any Saturdays available. I mean, we race every single Saturday night from
right
April 11th all the way till October 23rd.
Right.
So we're booked.
So
as far as that goes.
And I don't want to start anything here. It's more really honestly just a question. But is there a reason? Are the Northwest Super late models coming there this year? And if not, why not?
Well, we don't have them booked. I think we booked the show a couple of years ago, and it was a good race and good stuff. But it's just not fiscally opportune for us to book that type of show without some sponsorship support.
Okay.
I mean, it's the typical answer you get from every racetrack.
No, I get it.
If they're too expensive, you can't book them. And it's not that the Northwest Super late models are too expensive. It's just that to bring the cars as far as they have to come, you feel obligated to try and create an avenue where you can do something extra.
Right.
And you're trying to give the bottom more.
Yeah, to make it
money.
worth their while, in other words.
Yeah, and in all reality, the 5 late models, we run those guys once a month. We got, between 12 and 15 of them, and
wow.
They put on a good show. And, we've had races that have been 9 or 10, and, it's no fun when there's 9 or 10, but at the same time, we're a quarter mile.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 or 10 that you can get on a slow night are really good cars, and you get a really good race. And, at Meridian, you don't need 20 cars to have a great show. What you end up with is a demolition derby.
Right.
And so with that said,
that answered my question. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that we don't want to.
Right.
And it's not that we can't afford to. It's just that it's so far away. It's not really that opportunistic from East Washington to come all the way over here,
right.
Because they'll come over here for the same number for the most part that they could race in their own backyard.
Absolutely.
And so, then it feels like you're forcing them to do it. I mean, it's not like the late model guys don't travel. I mean, there's a group of them, but I think regions, whether you're talking about modifieds or late models or sprint cars, no matter what kind of stuff you're talking about, I think those regions have to get really strong to be able to take big car counts, places like that.
Right.
And then, of course, you have to have somebody philanthropical that says, man, I really love those things. I'd really love to put 5 or 10 grand up if you could bring them in. And then there's the incentive to, feel pretty good about helping those guys on the bottom with their tow money, because you're not risking your own budget to do so.
Absolutely. It makes 100% sense.
Yeah. I mean, and ultimately with our, Twin 100s, 10K late model jackpot race, I mean, we had a sponsor put up a lot of money. We were able to have a big money race, larger than what they normally run for. And we had a little bit of out of state support, and it was great to see those guys. But in the end, ended up with 18 cars or something, and it was really good. And then we all knew that somebody local was going to take home big bucks, and it wasn't going out of town.
Right.
So there's ways to half full all of it, Terry. I mean,
oh yeah, man, I get it, and I mean, you know Brian Esquinia. He said
yeah.
He said ask Nelson how those Miller Lite buckets are looking.
Yeah, we like to play all kinds of promotional games. That's for sure with that kind of stuff. But
that's super cool.
You know, he does a good job for us. We've been using him and 2 or 3 other designers these last couple of years, and Brian and the guys over at BLG Blue. I mean, they just take.
Yeah, they're awesome, man. They've been with us. They've been with us since day one. And man, wait till you see my new website that he's hooked up for me, man. It's like it's going to be off the chain when it comes out. But yeah, really, really, really good guys. So, what can we when we go to Meridian? What can we expect? I mean, is there anything new that you've done, or I mean, give us kind of the update. What's been going on?
When it comes to facility, I mean, for the most part, we're pretty well maxed out on stuff that we can do. You know, I mean, outside of you know, continuing to do the typical maintenance, and you know, we're working to try and do some bathroom remodeling and stuff on one of our buildings that hasn't been done, but we've done 2 or 3 other of our bathroom buildings. So we just can kind of continue to keep trying to upgrade some of our creature comforts at the facility. I mean, I think this year our biggest thing that we're trying to get done, and there's the big push, obviously, because you know, potentially we're going to be able to be open for 3 to 6 weeks and not be able to invite people to come out and watch. So, you know, did a bunch of our races and broadcasting on Fans Choice last year. And,
cool.
You know, so we have a lot of stuff set up, but we're working really hard to try and get our website at speedtour.tv set up and finished so we can broadcast our events should we be able to open without spectators there, and thus creating the, you know, the grandstand that lots of tracks and lots of places are trying to do. So that's our biggest thing. I mean, that's what we're investing in right now.
Sure.
Because obviously if we don't have a virtual grandstand, we got no real grandstand, you know, there's no way to pay the rent.
Right. Right.
I mean, you know,
sure, man, I totally get it.
Yeah. So that's kind of our big push right now.
That's awesome.
We've got lots of, you know, we've got, I think 13 or 14 classes that run at Meridian. So they, you know, it's always a constant rotation of who's in and who's out, and who's running what. We've been working on a little chicane off of our front chute, you know, to use for Hornets and
awesome,
and bombers and some of that. It's going to double as a you know, as a winter circle and kind of some of that stuff that, you know, it's not really highly important, but it's a nice addition. And we've got the loop configured that our plan is to create, use it to create the asphalt tri-oval for karting. And so that's kind of the secondary purpose of that thing. And you know, we haven't been out promoting it. We haven't really been talking about it yet because it's all graded and excavated and ready to pour pavement, or lay the pavement, I should say. But obviously that's on hold, you know, for obvious reasons right now. And as soon as they give us the green light, you know, they'll come out with the machine and pave that thing, and then we can put a cart on it. And if everything works good and the transition feels good and it's fast, you know, it's going to be really a cool deal for, you know, for anybody to be able to participate in, whether it's the Predator kart guys or the open flat kart guys. I know they don't like to be called that, but
no,
you
but
know,
yeah. Don't let Ronnie Cox hear that. He'll freak.
Yeah, no, our guys don't like it either. So, but anyways, that's kind of the new thing. You know, we have our little dirt track that we've been running go-karts on.
Yeah, that thing's awesome, man.
And you know, we kind of want to focus on the pavement stuff right now, and so, you know, with that, I think when it comes to late model stuff, I mean, you know, the only really new with Big 5 this year is instead of 5 events, we've got 7 features on deck with 6 nights.
Wow.
So that, you know, it was set up to be an extended season for them. But, you know, now if we lose April 11th, which we obviously already have, it's going to be back down to 5 events. So,
Well, hey, we're gonna pray that stuff comes through. Mr. Walden told me to tell you hi. He's on there saying, "Hey, Terry and Adam."
Yeah. No, I listened to him talk to Todd and DJ and the guys over on Turn 5 Live last night. So there's no cool racing going on, so us dumbass promoters have to be on.
No, you know what? I'm not buying that one. I'm not buying that one. We got to give
you. Walden, you know it's true.
We got to give you some love too. I mean, it's.
We appreciate it. I mean, we always like to talk about our racetracks and the things we're doing and how exciting racing is. I mean, that's the hard part about shows like this. The people listening to it, they know that racing's badass, right?
Right.
I mean, the hard part is getting other people to realize it and suck into it 4 or 5 times so they start living it and can't live without it.
Well, you know what we should start doing, Nelson? Is we need to get together. We need to get a team of us, and we should start doing some commercials.
What do you want to sell?
Let's sell the tracks. Let's sell it. We'll get on there. Give it to me. I'll sell it. I'll sell Meridian.
Well, it'd be what do they call those? A PSA. We'll do a PSA.
Sure, it'd be cool. Just a little something that you can put up there and maybe, who knows, put it on the internet and do that kind of stuff. I mean, nobody's doing that.
Yeah, no, I think, and what's funny is I think the iRacing stuff that's going crazy right now, I think is not hurting anything. I haven't become a huge big fan of it yet, but
right.
They're at least keeping cars and grandstands on national TV to some extent. So
absolutely.
People aren't losing track. So
yeah,
we're just ready to open and run cars. I mean, we're right in the middle of downtown Meridian.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of test and tune sessions, right before all of this stay-at-home order stuff happened because we were still doing private test and tunes. And man, when somebody lights up a late model or a modified on a Thursday or a Wednesday afternoon, and while people are still at work, and it rings through downtown Meridian,
yeah,
and it gets the
man,
phone ringing.
Yeah, dude.
Man, people start going nuts. I mean, I ran racetracks that are on the edge of town and nobody knows that it's out there, and it's hard. I mean, it's really cool when you light up a car and the phone starts ringing and saying, "Are you guys racing tonight?"
I know, it's killer.
So it pumps us up.
I'm
stoked to listen to what Hobbs has to say. I know Hobbs, you guys are dealing with some really different stuff there in Washington, and I really feel bad for everybody involved. But I'm really excited to hear what Hobbs has to say about, the Evergreen plans. I mean, that place is just as iconic as any of these other racetracks that have been around so long. And I'm just interested to see what he has to say. I think Walden's interview last night was really good. It was, it's kind of an insight to where the attitudes of, your fellow racetrack people are. And I haven't heard the negative one yet. So that's what I'm kind of excited to hear, Doug, because if anybody's got anything to be negative about, it's the fact that their season started so early and they haven't been able to do anything, right?
Yep, that's a fact. Well, hey, I just want to say, if you guys get over there and you need some backup with the TV thing, man, I'm always available, so keep me in mind. I mean, I know you got your crew there, but if somebody, if you need a backup or somebody can't make it or whatever, man, keep me in mind. I'd love to come help you guys out sometime.
Well, we're working hard on that SpeedTour.tv thing, and potentially the goal is obviously to broadcast the stuff that's happening at Meridian, but it's also going to travel with the, to Hermiston Raceway for the Speed Tour modified events and the Speed Tour sprint car events that we have scheduled there at Hermiston. It'll travel to Twin Falls. And maybe if we get to Hermiston, maybe that's the spot where, we let Terry Bridges roll. I mean, it's halfway, right?
That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
Even if we got our regular guy, I mean, you got to have somebody spicy like Bridges on, right?
Heck yeah, man. You know it too. It.
Hey, so I went and threw some links up in some different places trying to get folks to go watch your show. And so hopefully they go check it out and, go back through the archives. Cause man, I looked, you got like 68 episodes on deck that I haven't even seen. So I got quarantine stuff to listen to. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you being on. I got Hobbs calling me now. So now's your chance to listen to it. Appreciate you being on. Okay, man.
It's not the first time. See you later, Terry.
Okay, Doug. See ya. Bye. Adam Nelson, everybody. That was awesome. I'm going to try to get Mr. Hobbs on the line. We try to time it just right, but We're going to see if we can get him on here. What a good guy, Adam Nelson, man. I love the guy. He's awesome.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, Mr. Hobbs, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. We just got off. Sorry, I had to cut Nelson off so I could get you on. But he was excited to hear about you, so you are it. Everybody, please welcome to the show, Mr. Doug Hobbs. Man, what is going on? Last week you couldn't make it because you had county stuff to do. What is going on with that?
Well, a lot of it, obviously Evergreen Speedway is located on a county fairgrounds, and being in the middle of the county fairgrounds, and part of my past life, I've been, before I got into racing, I overlapped quite a few big events around the world and worked with a lot of different agencies and things. So just working with local government, and listening to what is happening in state government, and just trying to be ready and do all we can for our part to, kind of help fight this virus and hopefully contain it. And, we can all get back to doing what we all want to do and play, our hobby of racing.
Yeah.
So that's the number one goal. And while we're trying to, obviously hope all families stay safe, and it is definitely a crazy time for sure. And I don't think anyone, when this first broke out a few weeks ago in Washington, had any idea how fast this could go and how devastating it can be until it really starts hitting friends or family or people that around the world that have lost people. And so it's been pretty darn devastating, and hopefully we're going to see in the next few weeks, at least, on the West Coast, maybe we're going to reach that apex at middle of April. We start seeing, getting on top of this and heading down the other side. And that's the hope we all have.
Yeah, absolutely. The only downside to that I see is once you start, it's already, you got people not taking heed, right? So once it kind of says, okay, we've reached the peak and we're on the, now everybody's going to think it's back to business as usual. And I just don't think that's a smart, I just don't think that's too smart.
And I don't think that's, I agree with you. Our best hope, I think, at this point of being open at Evergreen Speedway, and my best guess would be hopefully Memorial Day weekend. And I think, based on going through the whole month of April, hopefully, this thing starts subsiding a little bit and they get on top of it. And then, early May, maybe we get back to a point where we can start, testing again or racing a little bit. Maybe we can get some of the crowds up to 50 or 250 people again. But I don't see the day, that just they say, okay, we're going to flip the switch on and back to business as normal, because I think the rollout's going to be pretty dramatic for everybody. I think they're going to keep tightening things down until they feel that they have got this at least contained and a good mathematical equation that makes sense for everyone.
Right. And I don't mean to put you on the spot at all, Doug, but being as though you've dealt with some of these community leaders and the county leaders and some of that stuff, some people have this crazy fear that this is going to be some socialism thing, that they're trying to take control of us and start running our lives and telling us what we can and can't do. Can you shed any light on maybe if that's a fallacy or whatever, just so people can kind of relax?
Well, again, I'm just one person, but I'm a country kid, so along with that comes a lot of the things that maybe, and I'm not going to try to get real political.
No, and I don't want to.
I don't mean to be that. I always look for the person or platform versus a party type thing. And I believe there's a lot of good people on both sides. I think that too much politics have been played into this, but I can tell you my gut feeling, at where we are in our county, in our state, there, I hear both sides of it. I hear the business side of it. And I'm a small business person. Do I want to open as soon as possible? Lord, yes. We have zero income coming in. So what does that mean? So we're not making any money. But like a lot of other people that are in the same boat, I don't really feel that there's any conspiracies or anything going on I know that there's, our minds tend to always go kind of to the dark side when we can't have our way or we don't really feel like things are fair. And I learned at a very young age, nothing in life is fair. But you have to assess the situation, adapt to the surroundings, and overcome all obstacles. And so I just look at things as that, we're in a very adverse situation, but adversity just brings new opportunities down the road. I personally do not think that any of our local officials or county officials, and even up to the state level, it's really easy to disagree with the governors and presidents and all the rest of the people that are pulling the strings, so to speak. But you have to remember, in politics, they're in a no-win situation. If they don't act and close things down, and the same people that are wanting that to happen, and if they got sick and died, would be probably the first ones who would criticize them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be at odds with any of our friends or racers, or because it is a little bit of a political nightmare type thing, because we've played politics since the time we were in grade school, and it's going to continue all the rest of our lives.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, but when you're talking about something that I don't think, a month ago that people thought that this was anything more than just a flu bug. And I think a lot of people still don't think it's any more than a flu bug. And yes, today it's, the COVID virus has not killed as many as influenza, but the potential is so much greater, the spread and the way that it goes. And as a flu bug, it can come and go, but viruses, as we've known, for hundreds of years, stay around. So some strain of this will always be around, much like, MRSA, much like SARS, much like N1H1, much like, the Spanish American flu. There's, whatever it might be, those things stay around, and it's hard. It's hard to sit home. It's hard to figure out, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay my light bill? How am I going to do this? Am I going to be able to afford, that?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that we can hope is that these unemployments or things that are out there will bridge that gap a little bit. It's certainly a Band-Aid compared with what most people need, and we're right there with everyone else. I mean, we have huge, bills just like everybody else in our world, and I just hope that we can contain it. So, at the end of the day, if all of us, if 2 months pass and we can kind of get back to normal, in the big scope of things, that would be a large win. And does it hurt us all a little? Yeah, but it's not devastating. There's no one shooting at us.
Right.
The unseen enemy is really hard to conquer, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Well, we're not in some concentration camp either. We're in the comfort of our own homes where we can watch TV and watch some iRacing, and so it's not really all that bad. But hey, Brandon Hamilton wanted me to ask Doug what the new things people will see when they get back to the track this year.
Well, that's a good question of what we're going to be able to get done. We had a couple of projects in mind, but those kind of got put on the back burner, so I'm going to leave those right now. But just what you'll see is by the time we get opened up, you will see everything is clean, sterilized, shiny, new. We're changing a couple of things in the pits. Not maybe the fans will see, but just a little bit of things, some amenities down there, some scales, some hopefully some concrete, some asphalt work, and some other things. Just some driver additions that we're going to try to get done during this downtime. So behind the scenes, most of our employees are off, and basically working from home. But as we get some kind of a timeline when we can get together and do some of the minor construction things, we're going to do those. We're just trying to, abide by the stay-at-home policy like everybody else.
Right.
We could be doing a lot right now, but it wouldn't be the right thing to do. And it's just like, what makes you guys think you're so special? And we don't want to be there. Yeah. Right.
Absolutely. So now I know that there's been, so you guys have a new, I don't know, maybe it's kind of new, right? Your pro lates are going to be a little bit, is that going to be your main class there, or will you have super lates with it? I've kind of heard both ways.
Well,
so.
Yeah, it's, that was kind of a tough decision, but we saw the last couple of years really watching across America how the costs have been spiraling out of control with the super late model classes. That's not something that is brand new. And I think in one of the major trade publications said if you want to start racing super late models, you better have at least $100,000. That's a scary thought when you're a Hornet driver or a modified driver or a mini stock or how do you make that leap and bounds?
Yep, because that's that natural progression that's always been there, right? I mean, you started at street stocks and Hornets and this and that, and you make those steps up there, and
right,
you can't really do.
And so what we really looked at, especially the last full season, is what tracks have been doing in the South, what tracks were doing in California, what other tracks were doing with their late model programs, with especially the Hoosier 970, how many classes it was running on, the repeatability, the cost savings involved with that. The thing that change is tough. Change is bad, in a lot of ways, and it's good in others. To take a lot of your people that have invested that much money and throw it out with the bathwater, is not a good thing. And that was not our design intent. I think that even though there's not many that are going to do it, I had hoped that a lot of our, guys that had open motors and big motors would come and run with crate motors and things. And yes, there's, some weight breaks and things with the crates trying to make them competitive, but it was not trying to kill off the big motors.
Right.
And so this was really going to be a transitional year for us, watching how many super late model guys were either getting out or had moved. We lost a lot of our, people that had moved, when you take, Tyler Canner, the last two-time champion, moved to North Carolina. Molly, who had ran that, moved to North Carolina. Brittany had raced a year, but then she's now moved. Brittany Zamora moved up, to ARCA and then selected, super late model races, and things happen. You lose like a Trenton Moriarty that, just does spotty races here and there, or running, Northwest Tour races, and you start going down that lane, and you see that we just lost potentially 6 drivers that normally run in there, so that's a third of our field. Then you start looking at who was building a new car, and that was really what my decision was, or mine and the staff, is that we're not going to be gaining anybody new, so we're going to have to adjust. And that was the reason to go more pro late model races this year, trying to build that class back. I would love to see in the next year or two to be able to offer the same amount of races for pro lates as super lates. I mean, that would be my goal.
Right.
My goal is never to kill super late model racing. That's it's been a feature at Evergreen for a long, long time. Our wing sprints have been very popular, and I think in their sophomore season, I think that's once we get racing, I think that's going to really, really be even more popular than it was last year.
Well, Doug, I think you're going to find that. I mean, I think I've always said that you've got to have that class. The pro lates, with the steel shocks and where it's not a ton of money and whatever. I mean, you got to have that class. I mean, that's, trying to step from a Hornet to a super late or, even lower than that. I mean, that's like coming from grade school to college, right? I mean, that's a huge step.
Right.
I think you've done a very smart thing there. I think pro lates, it's going to be something that's always going to be here. It's definitely necessary. Not everybody's got the dollars to go do that, but yet it's the next best thing. It's just as competitive, and they're still going to be learning. I mean, there's still bump stops and all that kind of stuff. So, I think you made the right choice. I mean, I really do. I don't think once things get rolling, I think things are going to be perfect.
Well, we're hoping, and this was not just an area to try to save money. All of the races that we're putting on for 2020, just because they're now called a pro late versus a super late,
right.
I didn't cut my purses. We actually, some of them will actually increase, even though it's a pro late class. So we're not trying to punish the drivers or the teams for their investment and what they time and effort that they put in over the years.
Right.
We're also, having, with the tire program that we instituted, if you race every week, you're going to continue to get help up to the point where after you've run, a few races, you're going to get might start off as 1 free tire, 2 free tires, but, if you run all the races, then you get 4 free tires. So I think it's a good incentive, that I don't think any other track is doing right now, but it was our commitment of trying to build the classes based on just lower expenses to the teams. And I think now coming out of this situation and who knows how long this economy may suffer, it could be a good thing on that end of it, that it doesn't cost as much to race in that class as it did last year.
Absolutely. So now talking to Adam Nelson, he said he was working on some virtual grandstand stuff, meaning, a way to either stream it or get some TV stuff on there. What about you guys? I mean, I know once you get if we get this thing lifted, and let's just say it is the 31st of May or whatever, I mean, you're going to have to do something to compensate for the fans that, I'm sure there's still going to be that 6-foot limit or some of that stuff. So what do you plan on doing for that? I mean, to get your front gate, because isn't that where that's where the money's made, right?
Yes. Yeah. Obviously, you can't live on just the back gate. You can't live on just the front gate. We fortunately now at Evergreen Speedway, get a percentage of the food and beverage. The county gets a percentage too, but all those things together, add up to what you can do. What is your driver experience? What is your fan experience? How can you use, all 4 of those incomes to make it good? And, we're looking at a lot of things. Being a NASCAR track, there's certain limitations that we have broadcasting a NASCAR, event. But we're working behind the scenes with okay, this is business unusual now. This is never, no one's ever gone through this before. So everybody's going to have a little bit of self-preservation. And, there's models out there with, obviously streaming and whether it might be Speed 51 or low budget or whatever it might be, MAV TVs and all these ones that are doing great jobs for a lot of tracks. I think you have to look at all those. We're looking at, working with NASCAR more back to the streaming program. We were actually the very first track, when it was fans' choice way back when they experimented with that. But then it became such a problem that if you have to monetize it some way for the tracks, either be able to sell advertising on it or be able to charge a small amount, whatever it might be. It might be $5 a race, $10 a race. I'm not sure what it is, but yes, all those things are kind of in play right now, Terry, with the unknown of when we can open. Even if we can open, are we going to open with 250 people, 50 people? I mean, what's the time limit? And I don't think any track can survive on 50 front gate customers or even 250 front gate customers.
Amen. Yeah.
That's just going to be, it's just such an unknown right now. And obviously we all hope that we can get in, we just keep moving and manipulating schedules. When we take something off, when moving it down, we're looking at, where it was a Saturday night for NASCAR, maybe it becomes a Friday night, Saturday night, or maybe it becomes a Saturday, Sunday, and we move some of our drift and autocross. I know that we're definitely going to go well into October without, stepping on, great events like, Fall Classic and other things. But I think, the responsibility we have, to fans and marketing partners and trying to make up as many races as possible. If we lose the whole month of April and part of May, we're going to have to double up or go into, October to make up as many as we can.
This is why you make the big bucks, Mr. Hobbs.
Yeah.
Right?
Why did I leave my day job?
But honestly, the saddest part is, what's going to happen when okay, we open up? You're going to have every single late model fan in the Northwest going to be wanting to come to this thing. And if you're only going to be able to allow 250 people, I mean, yeah, we'd love to always be in that boat. But, I mean,
right.
what do you think that's going to mean? I mean, you're going to have to turn people away, or is it going to be
well, again, we're not really sure. I mean, again, there's things that could be done, and there's things that we've been working contingency plans on. I mean, I think most tracks, would be able to probably figure out some kind of social distancing in each section of their grandstand. You could actually, we have the option to, with different bleacher sections to move in, or even just chairs. Just take chairs that we hook together, and we could move things out. So we'll get as creative and as innovative as we possibly can to get this season in and be as successful as possible. I think that if it doesn't last too long, then people's incomes and discretionary funds should be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll I can tell you on our end, it's not going to be about price gouging. It's going to be about this is actually, it's hard to believe, but we've been here for 9 years. This is starting our 10th season at Evergreen, so
wow.
We'll probably pop with a few $10 nights just to try to get people in the grandstands. And the good thing, kids 10 and under are always free. Active retired military are always free at our events. We do a lot of charity work and things, and so we don't want to stop doing those things. We want to be able to keep doing what we've built on and make it bigger and badder each year if we possibly can.
Yeah. To me, you're amazing. I don't know how you do it. I mean, you're shuffling so much stuff all the time. I mean, you're already creative in my book. I mean, just to be able to get done everything you get done. But what about the Summer Showdown? I mean, that's going to be in June, right?
No, it's Summer Showdown is at the end of July.
Okay.
And when NASCAR made the decision last year that was going to take a couple of weeks off, we reached out to Montana and just again trying to be respectful of people's dates and things, and said, "Are you guys going to be running the Montana 200?" And said, "Probably not." And so we said, "Okay, we're going to move our event to the end of July then, because NASCAR's off for 2 weeks." And, we had one locked up for sure, and we were 90% of the way with another really big name driver, but obviously that's going to go down the tube because the Cup drivers are going to be, making up a lot of their own races.
Sure.
But, we hope that, we hope for sure that that's going to be well attended, and not only in just fans but car counts and things, and again we're not really sure how many. We've got some early entries from way out of state and stuff, but again I never hold people to those things. If they have to make a change, they certainly always get their money back and more. So we'll just we have one we kind of cut it down this year to just 2 big track races, knowing that we were, focused this year on cost. So, obviously the Galloway race at the end of June 27th is going to be a kind of a litmus test to see what it might be for Summer Showdown. How many drivers are we going to get? How many, super late models are going to show up? And, that'll give us an indicator a month before our Summer Showdown.
So did you watch what do you think? iRacing, yay or nay?
Well, I think it's, again, if someone would have told me 5 years ago that I would sit in front of my big screen and watch Cup drivers playing video games, so to speak. But, I've always been intrigued by iRacing. Obviously simulators and other things have really helped. Obviously, they've helped pilots. They've helped a lot of race car drivers. I think it's entertaining. We're starting our own kind of series up here next week. We've got 3 iRacing with Speed 51 of circle track, and then we're doing one of wing sprints, and then one of figure 8. So we'll see how that kind of goes. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Now, where can people find that at? Where's that? Is it just on the
51.
Okay.
Speed51.com. Get signed up and registered. But we're going to highlight. We're highlighting our Galloway race, the Galloway 125 Shootout, Summer Showdown, Central Welding Supply 125, and then one of the big wing sprint races, and then our figure eight nationals. So we have 5 I races coming up in the month of April.
Well, you know what, Hobbs? You don't have anything on me because I did one too. I had the Northwest Race Report 200 from Lanier, Georgia.
There you go.
It was awesome. I mean, I think it's a cool. Thing. I mean, I think it is. I mean, it's for the fans, if nothing else, right? I mean, it keeps the drivers.
Well, it is, but also, I think the drivers and teams and everybody, it keeps their mind off of what is so draining right now. I mean, it's hard to watch the news. It's hard to get so overwhelmed with all the numbers and all the negativity, and it's something to look forward to. It's hope and promise of a better tomorrow. And so I think that anytime you can take a negative and turn it into a positive, it's a great win. So again, it's just, we all love racing, and it's a form of it. And I think that it gets us, closer to, being able to get back on the track and keeps our minds active.
Well, I know you're a busy man. I just want to tell you what an honor it is to have you on my show.
Good Lord.
Never in a million years would I ever thought, but it is. It's a real honor. You're an awesome man, Mr. Hobbs, and if there's anything the show or myself can ever do to help you better yourself or get where you need to be, man, you just let me know.
Well, Terry, you're pretty awesome your own self. I'm just Doug. I am nothing special. I'm always available if I can help you or anyone else. Just please give me a call. And, again, like I've told you before, you never need a ticket. Just come up and see us, and, sometimes hop in the booth if you want, and be our guest anytime. But, we're all just this human beings. No one any better than anyone else.
Well, I sure appreciate it. And we'll be talking to you soon. We'll try to get you back on before before everything gets all opened up and find out what's going on. Can you do that for us?
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely,
right.
Terry.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be in touch.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Be safe.
Okay, bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Doug Hobbs, everybody. What a great man he is. Man, it's an honor to have him on my show. Same with Adam Nelson. I mean, there's a couple guys right there, people, that they're the reason why you should go support these tracks. You just listen to them, the positivity, the glass half full. Gosh, man, I'm just blessed. These guys would even consider being on my show. I'm just letting you know that right now. It's pretty cool. And you know what else? It's you guys. I know you can say, but seriously, the Loader and I do this for you guys. We love doing it. We love entertaining you and try to give you an hour where you can just come and be safe and be positive and just chit-chat about racing. That's what it's all about. My goal when I first started this whole thing is if race teams and racers, I mean, we're not going to tell you anything that any serious racer doesn't already know. I mean, we're not here to try to teach you anything, but we're trying, those little reminders, the little things that are, that sometimes slip through the cracks that we don't remember. But for me, it's like, if you guys can get one little nugget out of this hour that helps your race team, either from an interview or something we've talked about, or the Loader brings something or I bring something, it's or even the racers when you guys are chit-chatting on there. If you guys can just get a little nugget of something that helps your race team, we win. That's what this show's about. It's to be turned on in the shop while you're working on your race car, and we just want to hang out with you. We just want to try to make it fun. Give you guys the notoriety you deserve. And all that stuff. For me, I mean, it's just I love the sport, but if for whatever reason I had to leave tomorrow, the relationships and the great people that I've met would make me a rich man, and I mean that from the top of my bald head clear down to my toes, man. You guys are amazing. I appreciate everything. I appreciate the show. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the high fives when we get to the track. I mean, it's just awesome, and it's what it's all about, right? I mean, we're all in this together, and we all love it. And I just want you guys to know I appreciate you guys sharing your passion with me, sharing your families and your teams and your kids, and I mean, it just means everything to me. So, man, please be safe. Keep your family safe. Keep your head screwed on. You know, don't let all the negativity get you down. We're gonna be racing before you know it. And pretty soon I'll have the loader back. We'll be hanging out. Can't wait to have him back in the studio. Check us out on Sunday. We're going to have a cool thing. You know, the history of karting, we're doing that. We're going to have Jason Gibb in the house. It's going to be awesome. And then on Wednesday night, I've got an old buddy from down Willamette Way. His name is Matt Drager. And he's doing a lot of bodies and a lot of cool stuff down there. Down in the Albany, Oregon area, and he's going to be our guest on Wednesday night. So I would love it if you guys aren't too bored or sick of the show or whatever, to tune in on Wednesday and you know, check us out and see what's going on. Claudio Valiente, what's going on? Thanks, Brandon Hamilton. It's awesome, and that's really what it's all about. Thank you, Greg Walden. I appreciate you so much. Adam Nelson was awesome. Thank you for hooking me up with that. And we'll see you Wednesday. Matt Drager going to be our guest on In the Seat. I got to thank Blue Line Graphics, Miller Kitchen and Bath, Bailey General Contractors, Myers Floor Covering, Welcher's Gun Shop, Flaming Pig Barbecue, Garrett Evans, and the WVSO and the Leonard Evans Used Car Superstore, Product41.com, Atomic Screen Printing, Barrera, Garcia Motorsports, and I also got to give a big shout out to Stimpy's Bar and Grill. If you guys can patronize that place when it opens up, you won't be disappointed. Go have a Stimpy burger. Steve Seiler's a great man, and he's helped me out greatly with the show. Jared Sessler as well from Sessler Motorsports helped me out a great deal. Appreciate you, Jared. And then, of course, Joe's Racing Products. They hooked us up with a subscription to Speedway Illustrated and CC Racer magazine, so that helps us get a lot of our content for the show. So, hey, if you'd like to help out the show, get a hold of me. Get a hold of the loader on Facebook. We'll try to work out what we can. It's pretty cheap, and it keeps the show going. We're not making big money here. We're just trying to keep the show rolling for you guys. So appreciate it. Love you guys. Please stay safe. Please wash your hands, and we'll see you on Wednesday night. Well, that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed the show. If so, please like and share on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by TerryBridgesRacing.com on the World Wide Web and subscribe so you never miss a show. The audio version of tonight's show is now available on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, CastBox, or Podcast Addict. For the loader, Jeff Eden, I'm your horsepower performance host, Terry Bridges. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Late Model Monday, a Circle Left production.